everybody, Natasha Koch here with the Van City Home Team. So we're going to talk about depreciation reports. It's kind of an important topic actually, especially in my marketplace in the Greater Vancouver area where we have a lot of condos. So I kind of wanted to talk about this document, the depreciation report. Now, first of all, I should start by saying that by no means do I claim to be an expert on this topic. I'm just going to share with you some of the things that I know about depreciation reports, and of course I would expect that you would look into talking to other professionals that can give you advice on them as well. So if you're buying a condo, you will receive documents, or you will hope that your realtor will ask for documents. So generally the rule of thumb is that you would ask for 2 years worth of minutes. Minutes we'll talk about next time. Minutes, financial statements, and a copy of the depreciation report. So this is actually a copy of the front cover of, and you'll see, I guess I'll turn it this way. Depreciation report. So basically front cover, and there's probably usually, well, it depends on the size of the building, anywhere from 50 to 200 pages. So if you're a buyer and you're buying into a new complex and you receive 2 years worth of minutes and one of these lovely packages, you will probably feel pretty overwhelmed. So I thought that this might be a good opportunity for me to tell you what they are, what to do with them, and what you should be looking for. So basically, the depreciation report, we didn't have the depreciation report a few years back. It's actually relatively new. And it's kind of a good thing. I mean, I know that some people will say mixed things about it. I actually think depreciation reports are good. I think that in the past, anybody that's bought or sold a condo, may have heard of these horrendous stories where, so-and-so bought a condo, they weren't aware of any issues in the building, and then they were slapped with a one-time big assessment of, $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. So obviously you are not expecting that when you buy a condo, nor can a lot of people afford it because they've probably financed themselves already to buy it in the first place. So strata companies, basically, what legislation did was they put together this option to assist strata companies so that they can have a projected maintenance report. So they do these reports over a time span of about 30 years. I think it is 30 years. And they divide it into different sections. So first section is cost. Second is how they're going to finance the project or projects. There will be more than one for sure. And the time period in which they're going to do that. So I've taken some notes because I don't want to miss anything on this. And so it's not because I don't know my stuff. I just want to let you know that if I pause for a moment, it's really just because I don't want to miss any of this important information. So it's notes that I took down that I thought would be relevant. So first thing, actually, maybe what we should do is let's talk about stratas in general. So, how do stratas work? A lot of people don't even know the answer to this. So in general, obviously a strata complex, which could be either a townhouse complex or a condominium complex, is basically a group of buildings. So the reason it differentiates from a single family home is obviously it's not a single family home. It's a group of owners that are going to be responsible for the repairs and maintenance of one specific building. So there's two ways, obviously, and every building is going to have maintenance. Whether it's a house, obviously you'll have to replace a roof, or it's a building, they're going to also have a roof to be replaced. So there's two ways to pay for these repairs. Obviously, there's a maintenance fee that is collected every month, which is, called your condo fee or your strata fee or whatever area. There's a HOV fee, I think in the US they call it. So basically that is collected for everyday maintenance of your complex or your building, as well as savings in order to repair future deficiencies. Number two way is by way of a special levy, or you might have been familiar with the term assessment, or a combination of the two. So basically, those are the only two ways to pay for things. They will happen regardless because buildings deteriorate. So So the things that you should be looking for in the depreciation report is, and these are the important things when you're buying. So you can read it cover to cover if you're a very analytical soul and you want to know all the information. Now, I would suggest taking this with a grain of salt because, and I'll tell you in a little while about the legislation on, who creates these reports. Like, these reports are meant for 100% replacement. And so sometimes that's not necessary. So let's go through the things that you should look for when you're looking at these reports. So the main things are remaining life of the components. So these are kind of big things. So if you're buying a property, you want to look at roof, when has the roof been done, if it has, or if it needs to be done. Cladding, so the exterior cladding of a building, or rain screening, depending on the age when that building was constructed or the type of material that it's constructed out of. Elevator is a pretty big expense. You want to see if they've changed any components of the elevator cab or the shaft, or any of the electrical components. Parking, underground parking, which is in a lot of our buildings here, especially if you're in an environment that's rainy, they deteriorate. So you want to see if the membrane, any issues with the parking membrane. Windows, windows upgrade all the time. We used to have aluminum windows, then double pane aluminum windows, and now we've switched to vinyl, and every few years they come up, or even less, they come up with a new product that is better and more conservative of heat and sun and all that kind of stuff. Boiler systems, some older buildings, they have boiler systems. When do they need to be replaced? And then of course decks and railings and those kind of things. So, the drawback to the fact that these things have to be replaced is you're not only contributing to the replacement of your own unit, but you're contributing to everybody's unit. So that's something to take into consideration. But it shouldn't scare you too much because it is divided. And so when you look at depreciation report and you see a large number of things that need to be replaced, keep in mind how many units are in that complex, because obviously it's going to be divided amongst those units. So as I said before, depreciation assumes 100%, the report assumes 100% replacement, and that doesn't necessarily mean that has to be the case. So for example, legislation rules that a depreciation report needs to be done now, moving forward every 3 years. So those items that were on the original depreciation report may have received some maintenance in the meantime. Maybe it was inaccurate of the time span that it needed to be replaced. So it'll be reassessed then in 3 years, and perhaps you can prolong the lifespan of it and defer some of the maintenance. Now, deferring maintenance, that's going to be a whole other topic in discussion, but I think that strata is a little bit of the focus of a few of my upcoming discussions, because I think that people should really know what they're getting into when they are buying a condo and what they should look for. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the common lifespans for things, actually. So the big things that you should be looking for. So common lifespans: roof on any structure, 20 to 25 years. So a building's roof should last 20 to 25 years. So take a look at how old the roof is, how old the building is. Windows, 30 to 40 years. Balconies, 10 to 15 years. Water lines, so if you see that something's written in there that the plumbing is being redone, so water lines are 30 to 40 years. So if it's already been done in a building, you can rest assured that it probably won't need to be done for quite some time if it's all been done. So you have to kind of pay attention to the small print and see what's been done and what hasn't. The cladding, 25 to 40 years, assuming that it's not requiring rain screening. Elevators, they should last 25 to 35 years. Underground membrane, 20 years. Boilers, 20 to 25 years. And commercial hot water tanks, which, it's less common now to have hot water heating systems in our buildings. A lot of the older buildings have, a boiler system, hot water system. And actually, that's something that you might want to look at as far as strata fees. So a lot of those strata fees will include the cost of heating, because obviously they're not independently metered, so you wouldn't be able to determine what the per unit heating cost is. So some of those strata fees will be a little bit higher because you're actually getting your heat included in your fee. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful for you to pay attention to when you're looking at the depreciation report. The main part of when you're going through it is the things that I identified, as well as if you look at the summary of the report, which is at the end. And I'm not telling you that you shouldn't read the rest of the report or get any advice on it, but definitely look at the summary, because the summary will highlight all the areas that are going to be the most in question, and probably the most questions that you should ask your realtor to investigate for you. Okay, bye.